Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb began his 8th and final year in office this week, term limited from running again. His top priority for his final year will be providing more awareness and access to existing state resources. Holcomb says too many state programs such as job training are working for some people but aren't being used by others who could benefit.
And you can just drown in this sea of acronyms or state programs and wonder if it's available to you.
Holcomb says part of the work will focus on helping people connect what they hear about state government to their own lives. For example, Holcomb notes that the Indiana Economic Development Corporation has had more capital investment in the last 2 years than it had in the first 12 years since it was created. But what does that mean to the average Hoosier?
This CapEx means opportunity. They know it means an average career of $75,000. $36.07, and where those opportunities are.
Holcomb says he'll be traveling the state more in his final year as part of that outreach. Well, a new year also means a new session for the Indiana General Assembly. We're joined now by Indiana Public Broadcasting State House reporter Brandon Smith for more on what to look for this session, which begins Monday. Brandon, it's nice to have you here. Happy New Year. You know, there's no budget to work on this year. So what are legislators' goals for this upcoming year?
Well, a major goal seems to be not doing anything too big. Republican legislative leaders have stressed the need for a quieter session, focused not on major changes, but on small tweaks to existing initiatives and programs. Now, what we do know of their priorities include student reading proficiency, that third grade reading test, chronic absenteeism in schools, and increasing access to childcare.
You know, we've seen an abortion ban, anti-LGBTQ legislation passed recently. Does the GOP have any hot-button topics, issues this session?
Well, there certainly will be bills filed and potentially even acted on, but they're not a part of the GOP caucus agendas. Now, I wouldn't expect any abortion bills necessarily, but wouldn't be surprised to see further bans on gender-affirming care for transgender people, maybe bans on drag shows, further legislation aimed at censoring what's in libraries as well.
So Republicans continue to maintain the supermajority they've had for more than a decade. What's on the Democrats' agenda?
Well, we'll find out more details next week as the session begins, but the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana continues to be a priority for the Democratic caucuses, even if we shouldn't expect real movement on that issue in the session. Democrats will also push to do more to address affordability in several areas, including housing, health care, and child care.
So, you know, we saw Ohio voters approve ballot measures protecting abortion rights, legalizing marijuana in the fall. So why isn't that an option for Hoosiers here?
Put simply, because Republicans don't want it to be. GOP legislative leaders say Indiana isn't a referendum state, though we have local school funding referendums. We've had transportation funding referendums. There's even a push from some Republicans to have local referendums on making school board races partisan. But when you ask them whether or not they want to do this, they say no. We're a representative democracy. People elect lawmakers to make these decisions, and that's the end of the conversation.
All right, Brandon, thanks so much. Looking forward to your coverage this session.
Thank you, Joe.